Okay, here we go. Strixhaven draft. Right off the bat. Boom! Blot out the sky. So blot out the sky. For 2, like at 4 mana, it's already good. At 3, it's almost getting to the point where it's unbeatable. At 4 and above, your opponent basically has to answer it or has to win on their next turn, or else you just win. It's such a bomb card that yeah, there ain't no way I'm letting blot the sky go out as I constantly am touching this. Yeah. Otherwise, so reduce is fine. Opt is great. Like reduce is opt is good. Explosive welcome a little expensive. Fractal summoning is a great card as far as to have a lesson. Witherbloom, decent, but nothing is like on the same tier as blot out the sky. Come on. Essence Infusion is okay in a cheap creature deck, especially if you have star pupils. But yeah, blot out the sky. Woo! So here I got Doomblade. Doomblade really good. Doomblade is really good cheap removal. Spirit Summoning is good as well. It's for Fractal. Eager first year. The thing with the Trudge is the Trudge keeps coming back. It's like not only is it a 1-for-1, but then it's a 2-for-2, then a 3-for-3. Then so it's like Doomblade's good, but the Brackish Trudge is A, a win condition, and then B, a way to get multiple cards out of you. Blood Researcher also down below. Blood Researcher is an amazing card. It's the one that gets +1/+1 for every life you gain. It's basically its own deck by itself. Mage's Duel, good removal. This Heated Debate over here is good as well. But yeah, you take the Brackish Trudge just because when you gain life, it comes back. You can gain life a lot in a game. So it's both a 30 drop that's very aggressively costed as far as for 4 power for 3 mana. And then it's such an attrition card. And right now, because I have a bomb, because I have Blot Out the Sky, I want one way I can go with my deck is a deck that just survives until I draw Blot Out the Sky. So attrition my opponent until I get Blot Out the Sky. Here, Pilgrim's good for attrition. The Necrotic Fumes is a very good card as far as a lesson. Hunt for Specimen is one of my favorite because it makes a creature and you get that lesson. Requiem is great. The Pledge Mage is great. This is a good Mortality Sphere, great removal. But I think it's Necrotic Fumes because it's a lesson. It's a powerful card that does not take up a deck slot. And once again, I'm going for attrition. I want to remove all your big things so our small things clog up the board, and then I can get Blot Out the Sky. Umbral Juke is an amazing instant removal spell. Inkling Summoning is a great lesson to have. So I don't know what I actually do here, where I go. Umbral Juke's so good. Because it's an instant. Because I can make a 2/1 flying at the end of your turn. Or, of course, just use it to make you sacrifice. Hopefully something big if all our small things have gone. Let me just speed this up just a little bit. Speed. Faster! Here we go. 1.5 speed. While we draft. And I can pause where relevant. So, right now it's looking like I'm going to be doing a sort of mid-range deck. So my average casting cost will probably be in the 3 to 4 range. I'll need some 2-drops. I won't really be looking for 1-drops, at least the way the deck is organized right now. Here, there's like not much for me, to be honest. There's the Poet, Spirit Summoning is a great lesson, and I have the colors for it. Maybe Letter of Acceptance, and maybe the Archway if I want to try to do more colors. I'm like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I'll get the Arrogant Poet. It's a 2-drop. It's not my favorite because it dies to pests, and it's flying. It's like it hurts you, so it's like unless you know that you're the more aggressive deck, it's flying just is not the best. Here, oh yeah, Hunt for Specimen, 100%. I already have the Necrotic Fumes, which go really well with it. You make the token, then you get rid of the token. Costs 5 altogether, but hey, whatever. The versatility of the learn mechanic and the lessons that you have, very powerful. So here, Star Pupil, Guiding Voice. I love Guiding Voice because the lesson. Guiding Voice is one of my favorite cards in the set. Why? Usually, it's something that gives you a +1/+1 counter. Terrible. You wouldn't want it, even almost if it was free. But Guiding Voice, because I can play, 7, 8 different lessons in my here. It's in between the Shield Mage and the Anatomy. The Anatomy gives me versatility and lessons. The Shield Mage is a very good card. Anyways, like I was saying, because I can have 6-7 lessons in my sideboard, the Guiding Voice basically becomes a +1/+1 counter and a tutor, which is very strong. And one thing I like to have is at least have the environmental studies, which aren't that hard to get, and one of the scry to draw one. So then if I'm land short, I have a way to get lands, and if I'm land flooded, I have a ways to get actual cards, and it basically is a catch-all. So here, there's the Infusion, or there's this Reduced to Memory. I think I grabbed the Reduced to Memory because of its versatility with the, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm counting my lessons and being like, well, I have the Necrotic Fumes. I go with the Essence Infusion? I guess I'm saying I already have a removal spell in my lesson plan. I get the Hunt for Specimen back. Now, I wish I kind of... Why am I... I don't necessarily agree with myself there, grabbing the Essence Infusion. I think it ends up working out with what the deck becomes. I think maybe I'm thinking like, oh, if I can get some Star Pupils, this would be great. I can Guiding Voice, Infusion, and go that route. But at this point, I don't have them. So it's very speculative. Also, at this point, I might, for all I know, might be going black, green with just a splash of white for the blot out. So interesting there. Yeah, I'm even grabbing green cards. I think that's maybe where my head's at. Like, oh, maybe I'm not even... So here, Sparring Regiment. So Dueling Coach, good, but a little expensive. Like, the board has to be, like, dead, and you have to have nothing to be able to really use its second ability. Sparring Regiment is so powerful. So you get to learn mechanic. You get to grow your creatures. It's just... Well, here, and then you have the it's definitely Killian. I'm looking at other things. Yeah, commands are okay, blah, 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 but Killian is so brutal. When you're on the play and you play Killian, it's like game over. And especially with the Sparring Regimen, whoa, double game over. And if I can gain a bunch of life early and make you burn a whole bunch of cards dealing with my Killian and these Hunt for Specimens and the lessons that they grab, then the game's going to stall out, and eventually I will draw my blot out. So here, this Humiliate, which I'm warming up to. I recently really have liked Humiliate. Although, of course, the Double Dean, you got to go the Double Dean. Both for the +1/+1 counters. It's 1/1 flying with Vigilance for 2. Or it's a late game pinger / grow your creatures. It's just too versatile, too strong. Here, yep, it's the flyer that gives me... Oh, but then I'm like, ooh, but Star Pupil. But Shadowing Learned. But Star Pupil. I actually don't like the Shadow Wing Laureate as much as one might think. Just because you really don't end up getting that many +1/+1 counters from it. And it doesn't exactly come on the biggest body, so you're like... Chillin', we're getting in the chillin'. So the cost of my deck is starting to drop, and I'm starting to be a little bit more aggressive. So while before I was thinking maybe a 3, okay, here, so here. There's another Hunt for Specimens, or there's Dramatic Finale. Which, Dramatic Finale with Blot Out the Sky, it's 2 of the big rares for that color. Like, you have to. You have to. I already have 2 Hunt for the Specimens. Normally, I think Hunt for the Specimens is definitely the better, more versatile, smarter card. But, I mean, come on. I get another Essence Infusion, and then I'm like, well, I can Cram Session for all these learns on, these lessons, or I can Essence Infusion and try to grab every single Star Pupil I see from this point forward, and then go super aggressive. Then I have an aggressive deck with some top end in that Dramatic Finale, and then when I try to go wide and my little creatures die, they make flyers that are then big. So that's the new plan at this point. All because of all pivoted in this one pack. So here, there's the command, and I'm like, normally, I would want the Hunt for Specimen or the Pilgrim from Ages, but, I have the other big rares for this, the Silverquill school, so I'm like, why not? Why if you're going to get all the good rares, grab them. So here, there's the Squad, there's the Pest Summoning, there's the Essence Infusion. I just go for the Squad at this point. Once again, going back on this, just like dueling. I'm just fully doing what this color is supposed to. The Dissector, I don't like the Dissector. I've yet to ever see the Dissector, I think, ever in a game, and then ever really do anything powerful because it can only be used at sorcery speed. So the Pilgrim is good for the attrition game, but if I can put and I see the Silverquill, and while pet summoning would be very strong with all these lessons that I have, these learns, I'm going full on like Star Pupil dot deck. So here, Blue Sun Zenith, great rare. The Lean and Light Scribe, if I'm going low to the ground and killing you, the Light Scribe is amazing. But then Flunk is also good. So I don't know. And then there's Environmental Sciences, which I also personally love. But right now I'm like rare drafting Silverquill. So I'm like, yeah, let's just do it. I get a 1/1 Menace and Lifelink. It almost doesn't matter what else it says on Valentine, because like 1/1 Lifelink Menace is good enough. And then the extra ability, which exiles my opponent's creatures when they die and makes me pest for a little bit of mana. I want to be Essence Infusioning Valentine on 2. Or the same thing with Star Pupil. So the rest of it kind of doesn't matter. If you have a 3/3 Menace Lifelinker on turn 2, you're in a pretty good position. So the Elder Dragon, love it. Can't draw, of course not. I'm not going to splash 2 colors for it. So that's between Pilgrim and the introduction to Prophecy. Or the Expel. Expel is really good. Expel is a really good removal spell. Although maybe I want the Prophecy because I don't think I have enough lessons for how many learns I have. Which is something to note. Well, yes, Learn does have the secondary mechanic of discarding a card and drawing a card. You really do want a variety of cards to be able to lessen it up. So once again, I don't know if I should have done that. A very expensive spell when I could have gotten the Environmental Science lesson, which will be relevant if I don't have enough land and I have, all these hunt for specimens. So this is just the summoning. And I'm like, okay, I need to get rid of about 4 cards. Usually I might go 16 with this, but I do have a big top end and with like Blot Out and then Rise, this Dueling Coach. I have ways to use a lot of mana, and especially with like the lessons and the expensive lessons, it gets to the point where you're like, ugh. So here there's the Strict Proctor, which is just like basically a 1/3 for 2, which is decently strong, especially if you're Essence infusioning. I don't know what I go for. Maybe I go for the Professor's Warning. You can see the Pillar Drop, the Inkling. Yeah. Having more creatures that I'm summoning with that. Yeah. Because I'm already gonna have to take cards out of my deck. I probably should have taken the Lesson to Annihilation there to have more versatile lesson selection. But yeah, since I plan on getting rid of cards from my deck anyways, the lessons are better because they don't take up main deck space. Here, it's like, what do you do? Maybe Steady Break, maybe the Beaming Defiance, maybe that's... I'm not playing the Dissector. It's just straight up, I'm not doing it. I'll grab it, though, and then immediately throw it in my sideboard. Here, I get the Environmental Sciences back, which I love. Get a Star Pupil, which I absolutely love. I can really go for the Essence Infusion deck. Here's the thing. There's a lot of good removal in the set. There's a lot of way to bounce or flunk or etc, etc. But a 3/3 on turn 2, if you're on the play, is pretty broken. And they have to have their removal. And even if they have the removal, if you bought yourself enough life, then you can put them in situations where then they have to block. And then you get the card advantage back that way. So, there's other things to consider. Building the deck. I think maybe I went to the restroom here or something. Yeah. I probably was chilling. Okay, great. So I don't think I think maybe I'm gonna take out. Let's see. Maybe the Cram Session, Arrogant Poet. Maybe the Shadowing, maybe the Silverquill. All the rares I like just because, how often do you get to play the whole rare suite of a I have the Command. I just don't have. I need the Dragon, and I have Blot. I have It's just you get it. Yeah, y'all get it. So 5 cards is a lot to get rid of at this point. I'm like, what do I do? The thing is, it's another creature with flying dice. So even the Pledge Mage or the Shadowwing himself doesn't give a +1/+1 counter. So it's like, yeah, the Owlin doesn't really go with my +1/+1 counter deck. It's a good card, and if you get +1/+1 counters on it, like great, but meh. So I'm like, meh. The Pledge Mage doesn't really go, but I love the lifelink flying versatility. Get rid of Expel because once again, it's not going. Expel is a reactive card. I'm expecting to be attacked and need to get rid of the attacking thing. I'm planning to go balls to the walls. I win the game faster. You have to deal with me. I don't have to deal with you. So I want fast things that deal damage. Yeah. I have the Deans. I have the, Killian, amazing. So now it's like, maybe the Brackish Trudge, believe it or not, because I don't have, I have these Hunt for, I think I get rid of the Hunt for Specimens, actually. I don't need 3 of them. Doesn't really fit with my deck, although the Dramatic Finale does make them bigger, I believe, any tokens. I could go down to Spiteful Squad. It's a little expensive for what I'm trying to do, but the +1/+1 counter synergy is my deck right now, so, you know. Yeah, I go round 1, and I go down 1. Hunt for the Specimen? Come on, Hunt for the Specimen. That's what we do, right? Of course that's what we do. Okay, so here we go. Let me speed this thing up now that we are here. Speed, faster. Speed, so that you don't have to wait through a fludging deck. Wait, pause. Okay, so this hand is, hey, stop. This hand is great. Star Pupil, I can either Essence Infusion or Guiding Voice it on turn 2, giving my opponent a real big problem. So since they play blue, I'm more apt to Infusion. Now I kind of want to, make sure I have another creature in play before the token, so there is some consideration to not doing it. But really, like, the ways they have to remove it, like Lightning Bolt, yeah, not many 2-mana ways to get rid of it. So here, just trying to play things and attack. So play a flying thing, so if you kill my Pupil, I then have a giant flyer. You're playing smaller things. I'm not gonna block. Here they have 1 mana open, but once again, unless they have literally Lightning Bolt, which is a rare, and wait. So yeah, so I get the flyer because I'm thinking on their turn they don't have, A, they don't have many flyers, and then B, they're getting to the point where I'm gonna force them to block. Also, the 2/1 allows me to use all of my mana. So this is a little poop that I thought they were gonna double block. They did have Shock, not Lightning Bolt, so that's one of the reasons I put it on Star Pupil, not my other 2/2. Here I'm like, I'm the aggressive deck though. I am the aggressive deck though. I kill you in 2. I do not really care too much about. So I play my Lifelinker in case you kill the Star Pupil. I can make a Lifelinking menace. So now you have to block my 4/4 on their next attack. I am a little bit poopily goopilied, and you play a Planeswalker. But the good news is, even if the Planeswalker if you use it on the Star Pupil, the +1/+1 counters make it where you're just giving me 2 more toughness. So here I'm like, what do I do? I need to hunt for the Specimen and find something first. No, hunt first. Why? Oh, William, why? Why would you do that, William? Maybe I don't want them to know what I might be doing. Oh, because I wanted the mana to make the pest before I decide what I do. That's smart. That's actually smart, considering how now I can go wide. Yeah, I forgot the secondary mechanic of Valentine. So they're trying to win right now, and I'm like, what? What are you doing? I'm the aggressive deck opponent. You don't attack me. You don't attack me, opponent. No. I attack. You die. So here we go. Gonna get ready to pause for the opening hand. Blink. Great. So what are we doing here? The plan here is to either Trudge or Umbral Juke on 3, and then hopefully this finale will take us home. We do have the tap land, so we have something to do on turn 1. Now I'm like, they have Zimone. And Zimone early, when I'm not putting pressure on, is difficult. So I think, like, At this point, I think I'm just going to get rid of Zimone. Zimone is definitely trouble as far as I can ramp them up and then draw them cards. I don't want that. So doing this. Now I'm like, what do I want to do? If I dueling coach and throw the +1/+1 counter on the Pupil, they reject me. That's fine. I'd rather that be removed than the Trudge. So overall, I'm happy. I get to play 2 spells this turn. And attack. Their Kelpie is real close to being able to do both abilities. And they play a 7/7 trample. And I'm like, well, this is troublesome. Indeed. This is very troublesome. I think this might be the game that I lose. Yeah. They're dealing way too much damage. I do this because it generates power. The +1/+1 counter stays around, and I make a 3/2 flyer. So overall, I don't lose power there. Now I'm like, well, since I can't block the worm anyways, I might as well try to gain some life. But their Kelpie is just really keeping. This is the game. This has. It looks like I'm about to blot out the sun or blot out the sky. Rise of X. So this allows me to. No, I still die. I am dead because they can tap something and then on my turn, tap my other thing and then I die. Yeah. So this is the game that we lose. Opponent had a powerful deck. They managed to gain life. I wasn't really pressuring them early, so it really makes sense to me that I lost there. Maybe I should have mulliganed since I didn't have a play until turn 3 and I was on the draw. But also if they didn't have a 7/7 trample, I would have been fine. So depending on how that goes about, I think not knowing what my opponent's deck is, if this was best 2 out of 3, I might have been better informed, like on game 2 or 3, to make that mulligan or not. So here, plan is just Light Scribe, Trudge, see what's happening. They Campus Guide, I don't care. They are playing a bunch of colors. So now I get to lessen it up. I do the lesson first because I'm planning on maybe trading with this Campus Guide if they attack, and I'd much rather just lose a pest than my Scribe. So I can Trudge now. The pest, I don't really want it to die before the Trudge dies because it's a way to get the Trudge back. But I'm thinking maybe this will entice them to attack with their Campus Guide. They get rid of my things. I'm not too worried. Now I go Light Scribe. I go Pupil. And I plus my Pupil. And I get myself a Necrotic Fumes for this Fractal. And I get to attack for 2 because of the guiding song, guiding pulse, guiding. So they have a dragon. They have one of the Elder Dragons, and I'm like, oh no, that is not good. But I'm not doing terribly as far as what I can do to counteract it. This dragon's one of the dragons that doesn't really hurt too much when it attacks. I'm like, okay, whatever. Now I can Necrotic your Fractal and attack for 9. It's pretty strong. Attacking for 9. Now it is worth noting that the Fumes exile the pest, so I don't get the Trudge back because I don't gain the life. So they think they're the aggressive deck. I kind of know that I'm the aggressive deck. So play a big spell. Play something that can chump block and make a 3/2 flyer. Attack for almost lethal. They Snow Day me, which this is now a little bit of a problem. Now that they have Snow Dayed me. I attack for 2 still. I'm planning to trade this Valentine. So they could tap it and attack me. They don't. I get to trade. And I get to make a pest. I mean, I do not because they have a spell. So they're planning to potentially +2/+2 counter and hit me and win that way. But I get to gain a butt ton of life right now. And get the Trudge back. So not only do you have to block, which is great for me, gain enough life to be out of death range, and your Kelpie was tapped. So if the Kelpie was untapped, they could have tapped my lifelink that turn, I would not have gained my life. And I would have been in a little bit of a pickle. Instead, hey, I win. Now, you know, of all the cards I could have drawn, you know, I agree with them attacking with their Kelpie. But that's one of those, if I was them, I would not feel good. I'd be like, bro. Here we go. Plan here is to Pupil, Essence Infusion, Hunt, or like probably Star Pupil, Essence Infusion, Sparring Regimen. They play red, which is the one dangerous color against what I'm trying to do right now. So yeah, I play it safe. I'm a little bit of, you know, whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll play it safe. Because if they have a heated debate, especially because they're on the play, if they had a heating debate or the... Now this is like, interesting. I do want to get rid of the 2-1 because they might be the aggressive deck. I don't know yet. So let's do this. At this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna start growing my Pupil. If you have removal, that's fine. I don't necessarily want a Guiding Voice right now because, like, if they have removal, they get a 2-for-1. So I'm just chilling. They have a spell. I'm fine with that. I still get my tokens, and now because they didn't do anything in response to the tokens going on the 2-1, I feel pretty safe. They would have had to have Lightning Bolt anyways. Now, Mavinda is a little bit of a poop and a half, but I can gain a butt ton with this Essence Infusion on my flyer. I gain 9 life and make a giant must-answer creature. And I can play another creature. So I play the Killian instead of the Spirit Summoning because I'm thinking if I keep dueling with the Killian A will keep me alive, and then B be almost impossible to answer. So they have to block my flyer. And I think I'm just going to Necrotic Fumes their flyer, see what's up. Hopefully they don't have like God's Willing or something. They don't, and it's game. 6-turn kill. Aggressive decks look to win quickly with cheap creatures before. Okay, so let's pause. So this is a decent hand. I have a 1/2, and I have basically 2 different 2-drops and 2 different 3-drops to choose from. I'm going to be gaining life along the way. You're not going to be able to block it. I'm perfectly happy with this. I have a blocker for your little 2-1, and the Valentine with Trudge basically is like an infinite way to get it back over and over again. So I'm really happy right now. I don't even care that you dealt a little bit of damage to me. I'm the aggressive deck right now. We're creaturing for creaturing, but my creatures gain life, yours do not. And then now they do. So now I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not the aggressive deck. Ugh. I'm thinking like, I want to Trudge. I can gain a lot of life and keep getting the Trudge back. So Trudge becomes a very questionable block if they want to get rid of it. And I've now shut down the ground, effectively. And if I play this Finale, then I've really shut down the ground. Attack with the Trudge again. If they block, I want to be able to get my Pest token, the Pest from it. They do. I get my Pest, and I get my Flyer. And I'm like, well, I could block, but I think I'm going to be gaining more life than you are. So here we go. I Finale. They don't do anything. I can Essence Infusion, but I'm like, I'd rather wait and back up this Trudge. I can like attack with the Valentine, not care if it dies. Oh, I could have just swung all out with that. I don't necessarily agree with that. Now I'm going to block because I get my 2-1 or my 3-2 when my Flyer. I don't agree with that attack. Yeah, so now I get, because Dramatic Finale is amazing, not only get a 3-2, but I get a 2-2. And now I'm like, okay, you're tapped out. I can gain this life in the air that I want. Still attack with my 2-2. Once again, it's hard for you to block my 2-2 because I get to keep the counters and I get to make a 3-2. So right now I'm just going super wide. They have an amazing, removal spell and card advantage, but I'm going too wide for them right now. I am a wide little boy. Yeah. It's just too much when, like, if you trade for one of my creatures, I get a flyer, which you can't deal with. And my life is high enough where it's hard for you to, it would be harder for you to try to sneaky kill me, you know, when I don't see it. You can mute your opponents. Mute. Okay, here we go. Waiting for the next game. Okay, here we go. Without Magic Dan. Okay, great. So once again, plan is Star Pupil, Sparring Regimen, Dueling Coach, and just go wild with +1/+1 counter synergies. I have a little bit of removal, although it's way late. They don't play anything on turn 2, which makes me pretty happy. Because now I can go, wee! Hey, guess what? Now, this is interesting in that, like, I think I just go for the Necrotic Fumes to potentially deal with their Pledge Mage. They block, which is like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they have, but I'm assuming they can play a spell a turn, in which case maybe it keeps pace. They probably just want to get rid of it before I can have something to throw the counters on. So here I go like this. I block. I get to make a big thing because all the counters stick around. They play a 6/6 or 5/5, but like I've got a 6/6. I can get rid of it, and now it's getting a little bit troublesome in that if you don't deal with my creature, like I have a 7/7. You have 2 turns worth until you die. Maybe a bounce, and you do. But I don't even mind so much because, once again, the Sparring Regimen gives me that value turn after turn after turn after turn. A lot I can do here. I think what I'm thinking of is I want the benefit of the Inkling Summoning once I have the Light Scribe out. So play that. Get things bigger. Kill your thing just to be safe. Yeah, and they're like, okay, but now I can make 2 5/5s, and now you're at 2 life. So they had a trick up their sleeve. They were playing to sneaky block and get +2/+2 and hopefully kill one of my things. They could not because my hand was too good. So now I'm like, okay, yeah, let's trade some creature tokens. Let's do this. I'll play the Valentine so I can make pets if they do block. I don't agree with playing the Killian before I don't attack. Okay, well, I agree with that then. I maybe should have attacked that. Maybe not, because they would have gotten the free block with their pledge mage. They're in a teensy bit of trouble. They're not gonna die immediately because they have the pests, but and then I get blow out the sky. So I can't blow out the sky for more than 6 because then it'll get rid of my 2 amazing enchantments. So I just do it for 5, and I sit here like, okay. Let's see. Oh, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll attack with everything too, because I'm going to gain 6 life, put myself way out. Like, the only thing that could potentially kill me is the thing that doubles something power. And I technically have the Valentine to attack if they, try to double the 5/4 power multiple times. Even though I think my life might have been out of a range. Yeah, so this is the first time I played the blot out, but it demoralizes opponents like crazy. Currently waiting. 1, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. So here, this hand is a little land heavy, but I have things to do. I know that if I draw, well, they shock my Killian. Otherwise, that Killian would have Killian'd them. So right now, they still think they're the aggressive deck. They attack. I don't care about this because I'm about to Essence Infusion out of my butthole. And now I'm thinking between like Hunt the Specimen or the Dean. And I'm like, which Dean do I want? I play the Black Dean just because he's a 4/4, and if I can infusion that side of the spell, I'm be pretty much like I don't have to worry about even Lightning Bolt right now. So things are gonna get big because of this. I'll grab the spell that gives me a creature, and then maybe I'm thinking that like I can infusion next turn and really go for a big attack because I'll have a bunch of things that also get bigger. Now my opponent's pretty pooped. right now. I can give my 4/4 +3/+3 so that they have to block, you know, pretty crazily to deal with it. Oh, I give it to my flyer. That makes sense. Oh, because I can also make my flyer even bigger with the secondary ability of the Dean. Yeah. So now I have a must block in the air, as well as just like small things I can still deal with you. Yeah, and now I'm like, okay, I win. If this flyer situation doesn't win, then my block will definitely. So they resculpt. I'm fine with that. I make a bunch of 2/1s and I say, win the game, question mark? Now, they could have that dragon spell, the one that you remove an instant or sorcery from your graveyard and then deals that much damage to everything. I've been hating that card lately because I've had multiple opponents with it. And yeah, once you're in a commanding position in the game where it's like all reasonable situations you win, you need to think about like, are there a few unreasonable situations I can play around if possible. This is a fine hand. I can Arrogant Poet, Essence Infusion, and then even if I just draw a Swamp, I can do the other Dean. So I'm thinking like, okay, and if I get Sparring Regimen, this Arrogant Poet is going to be huge. They play a 3/3, which means I might be the non-aggressive deck. Like, and then they play another one. I'm like, nope, I think I am the aggressive deck. So here I think I'm just going to gain my 2 life because I'm going to pay the 2. Let them do what they want. They still haven't played a spell, so I'm like, okay, do what you will. I'll pay the 2 life. Now that I have, especially now that I have a blocker for these 3/3s, unless they have like they do have a Heated Debate, a way to get rid of it, so they can attack me. But I'm still thinking like, you know what? I think I am the aggressive deck. I have a way to block and gain life with this pest. Now I have my opponent dead in 2 turns. And they have to keep playing spells with this Pledge Mage. Now, they could have the 4/4 make a token spell. They could have more removal to kill my Arrogant Opponent. There's a lot of things they could have, but I feel like right now the path to victory is potentially just like, go for it and win, and then they bounce, and they get 2 spells, and I'm like, uh-oh, this is bad. So I block their Archmage just because I don't want them to continue to draw cards. They are low in land, so I might be able to beat them that way. And I'm thinking, okay, here we go. If they have removal, I am dead. If they don't have removal, I potentially kill them in the air. So it's a calculated risk, but I think that's the only way I can sneaky win in this situation because they are actually the aggressive deck. Maybe I should have blocked with a pest the turn before, but I was thinking maybe I need a Sparring Regimen in. They play a flyer, and I'm like, well, that could be good, except I have a death spell in my, yep. And I go, bye-bye, dear Dean, and good game. We win. Woo! And that is it. That is you know, basically every single Silverquill rare. I did not get to use the Silverquill command, I don't think, once, so. But things to learn from this draft if you want to learn. In the beginning in the first pack, after that I was potentially in attrition, like 3 mana, 4 mana spell deck. But because of what I saw in the second pack, I quickly pivoted to go early spells. Learn spells are absolutely broken, and Lifelink will very easily make you turn the game in your favor. You will pretty much always be the aggressive deck, so something to note. So if you liked this video, please actually like it on YouTube. Click that like button. It helps a lot. Right now, please do it. Please, it helps a lot. It's so easy. If you really like this video, hey, leave a nice comment. And if you really, really like this video, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow the channel, and it gives me motivation, and it'll give you more content. Hey, look at other look at other Strixhaven drafts. The video will be popping up with a whole playlist of them right now. And thank you so much. I will see y'all next time.